St. Patrick's Parish was established in 1865, and last year we celebrated the 150th anniversary of its founding. St. Patrick's Church was completed in 1885, is the oldest and first Catholic church in Eau Claire, a beautiful example of 19th century Gothic Revival architecture. In recognition of our 150th anniversary celebration, a capital campaign was undertaken to restore our historical landmark and prepare it for our parish posterity. Although the campaign officially started in 2015, restoration efforts actually began in 2013 with the addition of a new steel roof. This external improvement was necessary to protect the church structure before addressing the interior renovations. In January 2014, an inspection of St. Patrick's attic space revealed other critical conditions requiring remediation before the interior aesthetic improvements could be undertaken. Therefore, the capital campaign focused on renovating the church in three main phases. These were the attic area, the main entrance, and the nave and sanctuary. The attic area was necessarily the first focus of attention in order to protect the integrity of the building and preserve the interior. The attic itself was in complete disrepair. Access to the attic was unsafe, consisting of aged, flimsy wood planking for catwalks, no handrails, improper lighting, and precarious access to the nave light fixtures. All of these items made the attic extremely dangerous and a potential liability. The attic also lacked ventilation, causing moisture retention, which rendered the insulation all but useless. The insulation had become wet and leached moisture into the lath and plaster ceiling. This condition contributed to moisture leaks into the nave and falling plaster from the sanctuary ceiling. The electrical system was identified as a potential fire hazard and required updating. Replacement of ceiling lights in the choir loft was also a necessity. A major structural problem with a support beam in the bell tower was also discovered, requiring replacement. Let's talk for a moment about the main entrance. The large stained glass window above the choir loft needed to be restored, and the plexiglass window covers had become discolored, causing the stained glass to appear dark and unattractive. The main entrance doors needed refurbishing, and their hardware required restoration. Next, let's talk about the nave and sanctuary. Plastering and painting of the ceiling and walls throughout the nave and sanctuary were long overdue. The nave lacked proper ventilation to protect the interior. Ventilation is necessary to remove warm air and moisture from the main building and vent it through the attic to the outside. Worn carpet and aged floor tile needed to be dressed as well. Sanctuary carpeting was old and worn and badly needed replacement. Sanctuary lighting was inadequate and in need of updating. Our initial campaign goal was to raise $600,000. However, as other deficiencies were identified, the project was expanded to incorporate these other items as well. Therefore, our goal was increased to $720,000. Father George, John Mickelson, the campaign chair, and the Capital Campaign Committee extend their most sincere thanks and heartfelt appreciation to all of you who have contributed to this effort. You can be genuinely proud of what our parish community has achieved with this undertaking. Your generosity and support have made rededication of our restored St. Patrick's Church a reality. Throughout our campaign, parishioners have truly demonstrated the meaning of our campaign slogan, honoring our past, restoring our church. St. Patrick's Church Restoration Project has many parts. Let's take a virtual tour of all of the improvements. Let's begin with the attic. Access to the attic was necessary through new stairs being added and the catwalks being restored, including handrails and adequate lighting. Both of these are now both safe and secure. The insulation was wet and had to be removed and replaced with open cell spray insulation. Mesh was installed over the roof purlines, leaving an air pocket between the plastic and lathing, and then 10 inches of R38 open cell foam insulation was added on top of the mesh. New steeple vents were added as well as cupola and nave ventilation to allow for air circulation to keep the new insulation dry, prevent moisture buildup, and improve heating efficiency. In addition, new bird-proof louvers have been installed, replacing their outdated wooden predecessors. Electrical wiring, which was a potential fire hazard, was replaced. Loop wiring was added to facilitate light bulb changing. Light fixtures in the choir loft were replaced with sealed LED fixtures. The deteriorated wooden support beam was reinforced from a structural standpoint and repaired, and other structural improvements were also made. All of these attic improvements had to be completed before any plastering and painting of the walls and ceilings in the nave and sanctuary could be undertaken. Now let's go to the main entrance of the church. The large stained glass window above the choir loft was restored. The old discolored plexiglass covering the stained glass windows was replaced with new storm glass. All window trim areas were repainted. The entry doors were refurbished and the hardware was restored. Let's take a look at the altar and sanctuary. The carpet on the altar stage was removed. The black iron and gold leaf altar screen was taken out. White gray porcelain tile was installed to cover the high altar stairs, lower altar steps, and side platforms. LED lighting was added to the sanctuary and the altar. The sanctuary was plastered and repainted. Next, let's take a look at the nave, or the main body of the church. The asbestos floor tile was removed and the underlying wood flooring was restored. New carpeting installed in the main entry area, center and side aisles, and in front of the altar. New plastering and painting of the ceiling and walls has been completed throughout the church. The ceiling beams have been cleaned and restored. The handicap ramp and adjoining sidewalk has been replaced and a self-operating door installed. Both restrooms have been renovated and are now handicap accessible. A new state-of-the-art sound system has been installed and a universal hearing loop has been added to assist those with hearing impairments. A gathering area has been added to the rear of the church by rearranging pews as a result of space gained from reconfiguring the altar. Now that you have seen the results of the restoration project, you might ask, what did this project cost? Here is a cost breakdown. The attic restoration, $160,000. The main entrance restoration, $72,000. The altar, sanctuary, and nave restoration, $368,000. The sound system, hearing loop, and sanctuary lighting, $75,000. The handicap ramp, door, and restrooms, $45,000, resulting in a total of $720,000. Father George, John Mickelson, the campaign chair, and the Capital Campaign Committee extend their most sincere thanks and heartfelt appreciation to all of you who have so graciously contributed to our restoration project. You can be genuinely proud of what our parish community has achieved. Father George and the committee would like to specifically acknowledge the generosity of Lois Harrison and Dr. Neil McElroy. While these two parishioners are no longer with us, their generous support created a special momentum and impetus that had a profound impact on the overall success of the capital campaign. A special thank you goes to John Mickelson, who was responsible for chairing the capital campaign and managing the restoration project. His efforts were instrumental in helping the restoration of St. Patrick's Church become a reality. Our parish forefathers made extensive sacrifices to build this church over 130 years ago. We honor those men and women by the commitments we have made to restore our church and assure its continued physical integrity for many years into the future. As noted earlier, our campaign goal was $720,000. Father George and the Capital Campaign Committee are absolutely delighted to announce that the current total of payments and pledges is $733,988. This is truly a remarkable achievement. You can be proud of what our parish community has accomplished and the role each of you has played in not only achieving our goal, but surpassing it. Thank you, one and all, for helping to make this campaign a rousing success. God bless you all.